American weapons cannot be used to attack inside sovereign Russia. The UK has never been very express on this. They're still not very express on this. But the general understood agreement that was struck yesterday between Lord Cameron and Zelensky, or this week between Cameron and Zelensky, was that these Storm Shadow missiles specifically, I mean, if they make their way into sovereign Russia, that's okay, right? Why would the UK let weapon systems in the UK be attacked go into sovereign Russia? Why doesn't the United States want American-made weapons to go into sovereign Russia? It's because the United States does not want Russia to believe they are being intentionally degraded, attacked, reduced from outside. If they want to have a wall at Ukraine that we defend the wall, that's one thing. It's completely different to go into and across the border. Zelensky's been attacking across the border for over a year. If you can't keep your own country safe, what is the point of going into the other country? The only reason you attack into the sovereign country on the other side is essentially to create and foment.
Well, in a war, you want to degrade their manufacturing, you want to degrade their military facilities, the oil storage. Like, I don't know that that's... But come back to me to the broader thing, which is the Russian narrative. And there are two things about that. One is the question people like John Mearsheimer and Tucker Carlson and others never get asked is the counterfactual. If you're saying NATO expansion is a problem, by the way, clearly provocative to Russia. Like, I don't think you can't dispute that. Where would Russian tanks be if we didn't have NATO, including Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania? I mean, Russia's always going to want to control that area.
Russia has to control that area.
Correct.
Yeah.
So my argument is maybe the fact that American military corporations really are keen on NATO expansion because it means they get to retool Eastern Bloc countries into Western weaponry has been a bad thing that we've allowed that to run away the way that it has. But if NATO wasn't in Eastern Europe, Russia would control all of the Eastern European bloc, as it always has done, as it always has attempted to do it.
When you say control, though, are you talking about military control, economic control, or something else?
Well, it totally depends, right? It depends on whether Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania want to go back into the brotherhood of Soviet peoples. Or
Who
whatever.
do you think controls Europe now?
Well, depends which part of Europe, right?
Okay. Who do you think controls NATO?
The United States.
Does anybody see that is a problem? I'll tell you who does see that. Germany sees that as a problem now. France sees that as a problem now.
Yeah.
They didn't see that as a problem prior to Russia invading Ukraine. So the very thing that you're talking about, this Russian expansion that everyone is so afraid of, the United States has been doing it. Why do we think that Russia expansion means Russian tanks? Why does that concept come to mind? Because that's the narrative that the West has made.
No, it's because of history.
Okay.
I mean, as a Russian, I can tell you, right? Every time Russia has a strong leader, it expands westwards and very often with war.
Okay.
Right? Because the peoples of Eastern Europe don't all want to be part of the Russian bloc, I would say. But in terms of the Russian narrative, there's another part to it, which is in 2014, there are some economic interests, as I think you'd agree, that Russia is pursuing, irrespective of NATO expansion. Russia wanted Crimea back because it needs it back, right? It needs the port, it needs the connection to that area to be able to project power from the Black Sea. So a lot of the stuff that Putin said, these aren't our troops in 2014, they were. The Russian attitude to communication is not, we're going to say, the exact truth here. Putin's said some things and then they've turned out to be completely untrue over and over. Now, I'm not disputing that NATO expansion is an aggravating factor. I'm just saying, if we're being super cynical about it, the United States and Russia are competing for influence in the region. Right? That's what's happening. Therefore, it is in our interest to support the party that we are backing, effectively.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
But at this point, I would say we need to wrap up, actually, at this point.
So it's funny. So I would actually say the opposite.
Okay. Tell me why.
So we're both agreeing, it sounds like, that the United States should be supporting Ukraine.
Yes. Because
it serves American interests to support Ukraine.
Yes.
Right? And thank you for clarifying that. We're definitely on the same page there. I don't know that Russia will expand via war forever. I would imagine at some point they'll learn that there's a better way. And Putin is a strong man. What he knows is conflict. What he knows is war.
And you talked about the impact of the war economy as well, right?
And that is exactly why we need to keep fighting in Ukraine. Because if we stop fighting in Ukraine, what we've just done is we've created this fucking juggernaut in Russia, that's dependent now
Wow. Okay.
on a military-industrial complex that continues to fight.
So fresh on. Freedom.